Billy Carson's desperate attempt to suppress a debate he's done with West Huff that exposes his heretical beliefs.
Is Jesus part alien?
I believe so. I tell people I am God, and God is me. That we're all God. Everyone has the power of Christ inside of them. It's about Christ consciousness. The Apocrypha text, you discover that not only was Jesus's mom a virgin birth, but his grandmother was also a virgin birth. Nobody ever talks about that in church, and you hear about that in Sunday school.
Billy since has asked his friend, who is the moderator of the debate, to not put out the video, and even showed up at his door in the early mornings. When people started raising questions on why the debate didn't come out, the producer and West Huff admitted that Billy didn't want the debate to come out.
I debated Billy Carson. You heard that right. This isn't clickbait. I actually debated Billy Carson. Let me tell you about it. So last week I got a message in my DMs from a podcast host saying he knew Billy and that Billy was going to be in his studio the next day, and asked if I'd be willing to come in and discuss some of the things that Billy has said very publicly about Christianity.
Which caused huge backlash, and people wanted this debate to come out. It soon aired with immense pressure from the mass audience wanting this debate to come out. Billy Carson is now attempting to sue West Huff for releasing clips from the debate.
Billy Carson is attempting to sue me. For those of you who don't know, I was invited to interact with Billy on a podcast that he agreed to come on. It was not his podcast, where he was notified beforehand who I was and what we'd be talking about. After that debate took place, Billy attempted to suppress the footage. That didn't really work. I've released clips from that conversation. Well, Billy does not want you to see those clips and has sent me a cease and desist letter.
As this whole debacle makes Billy look more silly with not wanting to release this debate and wanting to further cover it up, it really uncovers the heretical nonsense he's been spreading to his audience. And also in this video, Billy Carson has a 3-hour and 30-minute live stream rebuttal of all of this, and we're going to break it down. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on any videos. Let's dive into all of this. So Billy Carson is the founder and CEO of Forbidden Knowledges. He's wrote various books and produced different TV series. And West Huff has a master's in theological studies. He also has a YouTube channel, and he researches manuscripts and papyrus.
Billy, you talk about how Jesus was never crucified.
According to the Sinai Bible, Jesus wasn't crucified in that Bible. The text, there actually is about 12 to 14,000 differences between the Sinai Bible and the King James Version of the Bible, which came much later.
Do you mind if I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
When you say the Sinai Bible, what are you referring to specifically?
It's called the Sinai Bible, right, from Mount Sinai. I'm assuming that's the mountain that they're referencing there. But they put together their own version of the biblical text.
When you refer to the Sinai Bible, would you be referring to Codex Sinaiticus, like the codex that comes? Okay. That's why I was trying to get some clarification. So I work with manuscripts in my linguistic work. I'm an expert on early Christian scribal culture, and particularly in Greek and Coptic manuscripts. I have a facsimile, so I have a photocopy that was done by the British Library of Codex Sinaiticus that I work with in my office. So I have it here, and the only reason I asked for clarification is because I want to make sure that what I'm addressing is actually what you mean.
Gotcha.
And not addressing something else. Because the Codex Sinaiticus in particular is just it's a 4th century Greek manuscript.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from approximately between 325 and 350 AD. And its text of the Gospels reads almost identical to the modern Greek text that we develop translations from. So my curiosity is just simply in kind of exploring, when you say that it denies the crucifixion or that the crucifixion isn't there, my confusion is that it doesn't read any differently.
Found the text where I was referencing, actually, I was misquoted. I misquoted there. It's the Gospel of Barnabas.
Okay, yeah, well, so that's good. So let's deal with that too, because I've actually worked with, there are 2 manuscripts of the Gospel of Barnabas. At the very start of the Gospel of Barnabas, which we only have 2 copies of, one is in Italian and one is in Spanish. We see right off the bat that the Gospel of Barnabas, not to be confused with either the Epistle of Barnabas or the Acts of Barnabas, which are 2 apocryphal documents from the 2nd century, but the Gospel of Barnabas in particular, we know it's a forgery because it does things like in chapter 92, it says that Jesus spent 40 days on Mount Sinai, and then he came to the Jordan River and he walked to Jerusalem. But Mount Sinai is more than a week's journey away from Jerusalem, and neither Mount Sinai nor Jerusalem are close to the Jordan River. So never mind there not being a route from the Jordan River to like around Mount Sinai or going to Jerusalem. But there are internal problems with the Gospel of Barnabas, which indicate that it shows no actual indication of evidence of coming from or even having knowledge of first century Jewish understanding. It actually says Jesus is the Christ, but not the Messiah, which indicates that whoever the author is, he didn't know that those were the same words. And I think a bigger problem is that the Gospel of Barnabas actually paraphrases Dante's Inferno, which was written in 1314. So there's a lot of internal evidences that disqualify the Gospel of Barnabas, never mind the fact that we don't have any evidence of it prior to the 14th century, and none in any other language other than Middle Age Italian Italian and Spanish. But the internal content of the Gospel of Barnabas disqualifies it from being ancient. It's a known forgery. I mean, no one's referring to the Gospel of Barnabas as anything other than.
If you say it's a known forgery, Nash, but I'm going to go with that. Let's talk about the Old Testament a little bit and leading up into the New
Well,
Testament.
hold on, because do you mind if I address the Gospel of Jesus' wife?
Sure, go ahead.
What was her name
Yeah,
again?
The reason we can't skim over this is because Billy Carson has been making these statements for years, and the uncovering of his evidence proven to be forgeries should be enough that you should question everything this man says. Billy is known for his outlandish statements. Now, no scholars or historians agree with Billy on this point. A quick Google search can clearly show you that the Book of Barnabas is tracked back to the 13th and even 15th century. Now, those are some of the clips that really highlight the beliefs that Billy Carson holds to. Now, the debate did not look good for Billy, and he explains that he felt like it was an ambush. Now, taking Billy's word for it, I feel like Wes was completely charitable in this discussion. And the fact that he doesn't want it released should worry you. If he's preaching this to mass audiences like on TV and even the Joe Rogan podcast, and he truly believes it, and West Huff just debunks it all, saying that it's all a forgery, you can see why that would really cripple his image. And sadly, I've watched this 3 hour and 30-minute rebuttal live stream that Billy Carson has put out. He said in the live stream prior to the debate, he was extremely sick and even close to death, and he was still recovering when he went into this debate.
I was extremely sick. I had just had a near-death experience in the hospital a few days prior, got released. I had been so sick for the 2 weeks leading up to the hospitalization, trying to get back to America, trying to stay alive.
But even if he was sick, he still holds to these points, and they got proven wrong. The mass majority of scholars and historians believe this was a forgery, Billy.
It's a known forgery. I mean, no one's referring to the Gospel of Barnabas as anything other than.
If you say it's an unforgery, Nash, but I'm going to go with that. Let's talk about the Old Testament a little bit and leading up into the New
Well,
Testament.
hold on, because do you mind if I address the Gospel of Jesus' wife?
Sure, go ahead.
He states in the live stream that Defendant 1, who is the producer, his friend, and the moderator in this video, felt like he had to put out the video because there is immense pressure coming from the internet. And people were starting to question, why would you not release this debate? Surely there is something you're embarrassed about or hiding. And West Huff even released some of these clips, which Billy was not happy about. And now Billy is suing West Huff as well.
They do get served with a letter from my attorney. It was a cease and desist, a formal do not consent via a cease and desist. Even though the videos have been taken down, that was already in motion because I contacted our attorney that same night. And when Billy calls, he picks up. I don't care what time of the day it is. He has sent me this long message about, I'm so sorry, I apologize. I wasn't supposed to put this out, but I had to release it because of too much pressure. I was under so much pressure and they were attacking me.
Now, a few days later, Billy goes and confronts his friend, Defendant 1, at his door because it's in walking distance from his house, and confronts him and tells him that he doesn't want this debate to come out. Now, in the live stream, Billy just starts to scare people and say, I know people and all this, I've got money.
I've got people in every area of politics. And yes, I still call them polytricksters, but I've got people in politics. I've got people in three-letter agencies. They come on tour with me. I got powerful, powerful people behind me. So you think you got powerful people behind you and you got zealots behind you? Congratulations. You thought I was just some dumb black guy that just happened to get a little lucky with a couple of clips online and gain some popularity. You're sending me energy.
I feel like when people are in this consciousness, new age, frequency mindset, and they preach about suppressing your ego, are usually the people that have their ego smashing through the ceiling. Billy, you aren't scaring anybody. Just look at Matthew 10:28. Don't be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Billy, we fear the Lord, not people. Billy goes on a bunch of tangents, but we need to keep the main thing the main thing. The reason why everybody is talking about this is Billy has some heretical, outlandish beliefs. And yes, we can be charitable and believe that he was sick and maybe unfit to be in the debate, but they brought up points that he's been talking about throughout his whole career and they got debunked, and he's not happy about it. Also, in the live stream, Billy just talks about some outrageous stuff: vampire energy, frequencies. It's all just cringeworthy. And this stuff here is the dangerous stuff that he's been preaching.
I tell people I am God and God is me. They were all God. Everyone has the power of Christ inside of them. It's about Christ consciousness.
And this is the stuff that needs to be illuminated and brought into the light. Billy also misrepresents the whole story of Abraham and Isaac because he doesn't understand exegesis and hermeneutics and just pulls scripture out of context and makes a fool of himself. He doesn't actually know the true meaning of what the scripture is trying to tell you. And throughout this whole thing, he's using scripture and then pulling out scripture, preaching at his audience and his haters, but then pulling out scripture and being like, this is why you can't believe the Bible, but then throwing scripture back in your face. And it's just, it's hard to watch. Billy goes on, and about 2 hours in, he announces he has a study Bible coming out. Surely not. But yes, he's doing that. And I recommend nobody watch that or read that, however the format comes out. And then here's another fascinating clip.
We're bringing the light. We're bringing the flower of life. We're expanding it from 2D to 3D and from 3D to 4D. We're building a brand new tesseract. It's a fourth dimensional hypercube, Metatron's cube.
But we know in 2 Corinthians 11:14, for no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. So Billy believes in a false light and he doesn't even know it. I encourage everybody to be praying for Billy so that he can come to the true knowledge of the gospel that Jesus preached. Jesus isn't an alien. He didn't come here from another universe. God is not the universe. He created the universe. Do away with all your pantheism, new age, frequency nonsense.
You see this behind me? That's the face of God. God's not a man flying around with a magic wand granting wishes. God is a frequency, and it's your job to tune in. Y'all didn't tune in. See, I'm tuned in. So all this dark energy that you're bringing toward me, I've alchemically converted that energy into money. That's exactly what I've done.
Billy, put your faith in Jesus Christ. All right, guys, that's all I have today. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any videos. Catch you in the next one.